You may think detaching from a narcissist is one decision and one instant change. You try to flip an inner switch and expect peace to arrive. When it does not, you feel disappointed and start to wonder, what is wrong with you? What if I told you detachment is a process that has a life of its own? You may move through it even when you do not realize you are moving. Many parts of this process look like failure or standstill, when actually they are meaningful steps forward. I've been there, and I have watched countless survivors walk this path. The patterns are too consistent to ignore. So today I want to give you a clear map. When you know the stages, you can locate yourself. You gain language for what you feel. You see that you're not stuck. You are moving. I'm Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is the 5 stages a woman goes through before she detaches from a narcissist. We'll keep it simple, honest, and grounded. So stay until the very end. Stage number 1, the craving stage. This stage usually unfolds during devaluation, when the uglier side of the narcissist begins to show with less effort to hide it. The charm fades, the warmth cools, the small digs become open insults. Rules change without warning. What used to be intimate becomes a performance, with you as an audience who never claps loudly enough. Your nervous system senses danger, yet your mind struggles to accept it. Gaslighting, of course, does its work here. You are told you misheard, overreacted, or imagined it. What do? You begin to distrust your own eyes and feelings. You ask yourself if you're too sensitive. You ask yourself if you made them act this way. You double down on fixing the problem. You try new ways to be calm, to be agreeable, and to be perfect. You apologize for things you did not do. You study their mood like a weather report. This is where the craving starts. He throws crumbs at you, and your starved soul waits for the next one as if it were a full meal. A single kind text after a week of silence, and you hold it like a treasure, don't you? A half smile at dinner, and you carry it for days. You keep waiting for the return of the person who love bombed you. You believe that if you do the right thing, he will be good again. He seldom is. The core of this stage is devaluation, as I said. The more your value is lowered in their eyes, the more your value drops in your own. That is how craving deepens. You chase proof that you still matter. You bargain with reality. You tell yourself he's stressed. You tell yourself it's hard season. Maybe it will pass. Meanwhile, your body is on high alert. Your sleep is light, and your days revolve around managing his reactions. Craving is not love. Craving is desperation dressed up as hope. If this is you, hold this truth. Your need for crumbs means you were starved, not that you're weak. Your desire to repair means you have empathy, not that you caused the harm. The game is rigged, and your craving is a symptom of the rigging. Stage number 2, the confusion stage. Here, cognitive dissonance reaches its peak. 2 truths, 2 realities fight inside you. One says that person is hurting you. The other says that person is your partner and made you feel loved once. Both feel true, and your mind tries to hold them at the same time. That tension creates mental noise. You cannot think straight because the facts do not match the promise. Trauma bonding adds glue to this confusion. You have lived through cycles of nice and cruel, reward and punishment, closeness and withdrawal. The unpredictable relief after tension feels like oxygen. Your brain mistakes that relief for love because it arrives right after pain. You start to believe you created the chaos. You tell yourself you chose wrong. If you have children, the guilt grows sharp. You judge yourself for bringing them into this. You imagine their future and feel sick. You wonder if leaving will damage them more. You wonder if staying will break them forever. Do you see the dilemma? Disconnection from your intuition is also a key feature here. You sense something wrong, then you doubt yourself. You spot a lie, then excuse it. You catch a pattern, then explain it away. Your feelings rise to the surface, then you push them back down. Why? Because they threaten the story you still want to believe. Euphoric recall makes everything harder. Your mind keeps replaying the good moments like highlight reels with perfect lighting. This is how a desperate brain tries to protect you. It edits out the pain and clings to the few hours that felt safe. Those edits are not the full truth. Confusion is exhausting. You Google late at night, you ask friends who do not fully understand, you journal and then rip the pages, you cry, then wipe your face and get the kids ready for school. You tell yourself you will decide next week, then next week arrives and slips away. If you recognize yourself here, breathe. Confusion does not mean you're lost forever. It means your mind is wrestling with truth it is not ready to hold all at once. The wrestling in itself is movement. Stage number 3, the cracking stage. Masks start to crack in two directions. The narcissist mask slips more often and more openly. The charm routine becomes careless, the lies stop matching, the timelines do not line up. You see the same script used on others. The sweet apology feels hollow. Promises shrink from long term to short term to the next hour. Control becomes more obvious. The presence to comply grows heavier. You no longer have to look hard to see the pattern. It is right there. At the same time, very important, your own mask of illusion cracks. The one you wore to keep the home stable, the one you wore to keep the kids calm, the one you wore to convince yourself this is all temporary. Your mouth says it's fine, but your body no longer believes you. Your stomach tightens during the code to the phone. Your shoulders rise when his car turns into the driveway. Your chest hurts when a message notification appears. Your body begins to tell you the truth you have tried to quit. During this stage, a lot of survivors notice signs that feel like a wake-up call. The right book falls into your hands. A stranger's story online matches yours line by line. Numbers repeat on the clock. A child asks you a piercing question. A therapist names what you are living. You run into someone who left a similar relationship and looks alive again. Call it God, the universe, or your higher self. The effect is the same. You feel guided because the wheel thins. Bizarre synchronities show up. An old friend calls the day after a blow-up. You find a note you wrote to yourself years ago that reads like a message from your future. A random post speaks directly to your secret. These moments break the spell. They do not fix everything, but they shake the trance. The cracking stage hurts because the illusions die. Yet every crack is a window. Light comes in through openings. You start to admit out loud what you have known inside. That admission is brave. It moves the story forward. Then comes the collapse stage. Collapse can arrive through discard or reverse discard, or maybe a final fight that tears the story apart. Sometimes he leaves first to punish or to gain supply elsewhere. Sometimes you leave because you cannot breathe anymore. Either way, the dream you held in your heart shatters in the air. This is a grief on a scale you did not know existed. It's not only the loss of a person, it's the loss of a future you planned, the home you pictured, the version of yourself who kept trying to make it work. This grief is complex because the person is still alive. You are grieving the living dead, the partner you loved who never truly existed in the way you hoped. Trust falls flat to the floor. You question everything. You wonder if love is a trick. You look at your phone and feel nothing. You stare at the wall and feel everything. Your body is heavy. Even brushing your teeth feels like a task that needs a plan. In this stage, survival is the win. The nervous system goes into repair mode. Sleep may be broken. Food may taste like air. You may feel numb, then flooded, then numb again. You may think about going back just to stop the pain. You may scroll through old photos and cry until there are no tears left. The mind tries to make a bargain with reality once more. Maybe he will change. Maybe it was not that bad. This is normal. It's not a sign that leaving was wrong. It's a sign that grief is doing its work. In collapse, structure saves you. Routines that are small but steady. Shower, eat something simple, walk for 10 minutes, tell one safe person what is happening, ask for help with the children, book a session, write 3 lines before bed. If faith is part of your life, pray in simple words. If it is not, breathe in and out for 5 counts and name what you feel. Depression and hopelessness will tell you there is no future. They are not truth tellers, they are heavy clouds. Clouds, don't they? You're not failing if all you can do is get through the next hour. That is progress in this stage. The final stage, the awakening stage. Awakening is not a single sunrise. It's a series of mornings where your inner weather begins to change. You see the narcissist clearly, not as a puzzle you need to solve, no, but as a pattern you no longer want to live inside. The psychological coma of cognitive dissonance starts to break. You realize it was not your fault after all. You stop arguing with the past and begin to rebuild the present. Forward facing becomes your posture. At first, this awakening is weird, quiet. You notice your standards rising. You notice your boundaries holding. You hear your own voice again. You can sit with silence without fear. Stabilization becomes easier because your nervous system stops waiting for the next blow. You begin to feel tiny sparks of interest. Music sounds like music again. Food has flavor. Your laugh returns in small pieces. Passions you packed away start to knock on the door. A class you wanted to take, a trip you postponed, a book you stopped reading. Life trickles back into parts of you that felt shut down. You take proactive steps. You write a plan for money, speak to a lawyer if needed. You create a co-parenting schedule that protects your peace. You set up therapy for yourself, maybe coaching. You gather documents. You open a separate account. You learn about parallel parenting, separate parenting with strong boundaries. You keep your circle small but clean. You speak less and observe more. Celebrate tiny wins. Try a new morning routine and stick with it long enough to feel the benefit. Awakening also brings kindness to self, compassion. Shame loses volume. You can look at the girl you were in the craving stage and feel compassion, not contempt. You can look at the confused woman you were and offer her a hand. You can look at the person who collapsed and say, "Thank you for keeping me alive." This self-regard is the heart of detachment. The narcissist did not change. You did. You changed. You no longer trade your peace for crumbs. You no longer argue with lies. No longer shrink to make the room safe for someone else. You chose yourself, not from anger, but from clarity. Detachment is not the absence of feeling. It's the presence of truth. It's a steady refusal to return to a life that kept you small. It's a simple loyalty to your future. You still have hard days, I know, triggers will still arrive, yet you now have a map and a direction. You can feel pain without losing yourself in it. You can feel fear and still take the next right step. That is freedom growing root. Now, this is the journey that most survivors go through. I know it's not easy and you can feel stuck, which is why I have opened doors to my Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse membership community, where me, my team, and people like you will help you heal at the deepest level possible so that you stop surviving and start thriving for real. You will have access to a lot of AI assistants which will feel like you're talking to me. The doors are open for a very short time. If you want in, right now is the time. Click the link in the description. I will see you on the other side. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.